Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we will do another episode of Cliff Dwellers to see if in fact we are able to hold the line or not. So let me just post this a few different places and then we will jump in. Okay, so here we are, fairly similar circumstances as we were, about a month ago, I believe, like a month and a half ago. So we'll see if it holds the 20-day, because if it does, then we know that coins like Ethereum can have nice bounces if in fact it does hold it. Kind of like Ethereum, when Bitcoin bounced over here, Ethereum went on a fairly nice rally. You can see, say, from the bounce where it bottomed on the 12th through the 20th. So the 12th through the 20th for Ethereum. If we go look, what was Ethereum doing on the 12th through the 20th of January? So it was basically rallying from $1,000 up to around the prior all-time high, 1440. So it was around a 44% move. So when Bitcoin was able to hold the 20-day back over here. So I mean, if Bitcoin does hold the 20-day and Ethereum bounces, a 44% move would essentially get us back to $2,000 or so. But we'll see. We'll have to see if it holds. Obviously, we'll have to see if it holds. If not, maybe we'll look towards the 50-day, which is where we were there not so long ago, but I believe the 50-day is a little bit. I'm not really sure why these are not working. Okay, let me pull it up here. Bitcoin USD. Go to Coinbase. Indicators, moving average. Okay, let's see where so that's the 20-day. We'll keep that one on there, and then we'll add the 50-day. So I mean, it would be nice. I mean, it would certainly be nice for Ethereum if Bitcoin could hold the 20-day, because if it bounces, then I think it's good for Ethereum. If it goes to the 50-day, we're probably looking at another 20% drop for Ethereum, to be completely honest. So maybe down to the 12 to 1300 range if Bitcoin ends up dropping to 40K. So that would be if Bitcoin ends up dropping to 40K, which is the 50-day moving average. But we'll take it one step at a time. If we go look at the Ether Bitcoin valuation, let's look at Ether Bitcoin really quick to see how it's looking. Okay, so Ether Bitcoin is, as we said, we would expect it's more likely to trend down than not if Bitcoin is trending down. It's still at around 0.032. So it's not like it's completely kicked the bucket yet. But we'll see if it holds. I think essentially it's trying to hold at 0.032 if Bitcoin holds the 20-day. Like if Bitcoin holds the 20-day, then maybe Ether Bitcoin will hold 0.032 and bounce. If Bitcoin does not hold the 20-day, then we're probably coming down. So we'll see. I mean, if you're curious, the 20-day is around 47.7 or so. I mean, we're essentially right on top of the 20-day moving average right now. Yeah, ADA still looks fairly good. I mean, it's still looking strong against Bitcoin, still looking strong against Ethereum. So I think the main thing keeping ADA from running is a stable Bitcoin. If we get a stable Bitcoin, I think ADA will run. It's holding up among the best, right? It's holding up among the best of all the cryptocurrencies that we follow. If you look at, say, what's happened in the last week, Ethereum is down 13%. ADA is up 8.5%. So ADA is doing very well. I mean, over the last week, it's still up. It's still up. And there aren't many coins that are up in the last week. Obviously, Polkadot is one of them. Binance Coin is one of them. It went on an amazing run. But for the most part, there are not a lot of coins up in the last week. Uniswap, this is one I have. And then there's some more further down. But for the most part, Bitcoin's down 2.5%. Ethereum's down 13%. ADA is still up 8.5%. So ADA is still holding up relatively well. And it's still chilling right around 2,000 Satoshis. So obviously the hope is that Bitcoin stabilizes at some point, and then hopefully it'll run. It's basically the same game. It's the same game we played over here, right? It's the same game we played. We'll see if it holds. What sort of questions do you guys have? How long do we wait before predicting? I don't know how long we have to wait before saying it predicted the local top. Let me see. So, I mean, we briefly went into it. Our peak regression band. Why don't we pull it up on the BLX actually, so that we can see it go all the way back. So, if you're not familiar with this indicator, it's our logarithmic regression peak and non-bubble data regression analysis. So this is for Bitcoin. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up too. So this is kind of our market cycle, our macroscopic view of the price of Bitcoin. It's why people have said I've been a Bitcoin bear for the last couple months. It's not that I'm bearish. I've sold a decent amount, but I still own some Bitcoin. The reason is just because it was no longer attractive to keep moving money into, in my opinion. Not that it's not worth holding some Bitcoin, but it's hard to, for me, it's just hard to justify buying Bitcoin up in these regions. I'd rather buy it, when we're not nearly as heated. With that said, I don't necessarily know that this means that 58K is the top. So we briefly went into it. We had a wick that just touched the bottom of our regression band, and so we'll see what happens here. I mean, personally speaking, you guys know my thoughts. I do think the entire cycle will be longer than the last one. So, I mean, even if we get a drop, and then we just kind of continue on later, I don't think this is the worst thing in the world. You could argue that it's emulating this cycle over here a lot so far, right? Where a major move up, and then if we do get a pullback, it doesn't mean it can't make a major move later on. But I think it's too early to say that this is that 58K is the local top. I think it's too early to say. I mean, this is literally just 1 week where we've started coming down. We had a brief pullback here as well. It's not completely unheard of to have a pullback before continuing higher. So I think it's too early to say that this is the local top, although it could be. I mean, we put out a video about a week ago saying that I don't think we're near the market cycle top, but we could be getting to a local top where basically we kind of have a manic phase, things go crazy, we pull back for a bit, regroup, reaccumulate, and then trend up higher later on. I think it's possible that it's a local top. I don't necessarily think it's the market cycle top. I think there's a decent chance that that Bitcoin goes to 6 figures this market cycle, but I think this cycle is going to take a considerable amount of time. There's going to be manic moves when people FOMO in on the backs of institutional investors, and then there's going to be pullbacks once we realize that some of that's not short-term sustainable. We haven't really had a consequential pullback since since October. In fact, I mean, maybe you could argue this one was somewhat consequential, a 32% pullback, but you know, if for people who have been in Bitcoin for a long time, they probably would not consider 30% to be that consequential. Now, the one silver lining to or maybe the short-term silver lining to if Bitcoin is going to drop, like if it is going to drop all the way back, say down here, and then continue on, the one hope that we might be able to squeeze out of the market is that it doesn't do it immediately, because I still feel like there's a lot of new money pouring into the space. There's a lot of money still coming in. If it doesn't immediately go back, then and it kind of hangs out in this area for a while, then I think we can still see altcoins move. I mean, coins like ADA, as we showed, are still looking very strong, despite the fact that Bitcoin has had such a major pullback. I think DOT is another one. I mean, if you go look at say DOT USD, and we pull up, you know, let's say the 20-day moving average on DOT. DOT's not even at the 20-day, which is all the way down at you know, $20 or so. So DOT is also looking relatively strong. A lot of these altcoins still look relatively strong. It seems to me like they're just waiting for confirmation that Bitcoin is not about to absolutely kick the bucket in the short term. And when I say kick the bucket, I mean, you know, obviously going down to 40K would be a start. But the one place we've discussed at length on this channel, we talk about it essentially every single week, is our bull market support band, which is a long ways off, right? It's a long ways off. It currently ranges from around 28,000 up to 30,000. So my interpretation of what's going on is you know, coins like ADA, coins like DOT, they're actually looking relatively strong given the circumstances, right? Given that Bitcoin's not looking so hot, they're looking relatively strong. And in fact, like ADA Bitcoin's valuation again is looking good. It's still hanging out around 2,000 satoshis. Let's look at DOT Bitcoin's valuation to see what it looks like. So DOT Bitcoin is still chilling up here. If we go look at it on, say, like the daily time frame, it hasn't made any catastrophic moves to the downside. Okay, and I think the reason is because, yet again, like for ADA, people are hoping that Bitcoin doesn't have a catastrophic drop to the 20-week moving average, which at this point, even with the current price, would represent another 41% drop. That would be a consequential drop. We'll have it at some point this market cycle again. I mean, the one thing you can take to the bank is that eventually Bitcoin will go to the 20-week moving average, right? Eventually it will. It's just a matter of how long will it take to do it. And if it can hold in this area long enough, then it might give us, you know, further continuations of altcoin movements. If it doesn't, if it has capitulations in a day, then it's not going to be good for altcoins. Kind of like, you know, when it had this really massive wick down to, you know, when it had this move here where it wicked down to 47K and then 45K or so, you know, these wicks are not good for altcoins because this completely spooks the altcoin market. So when you hear me talk about, you know, it's okay if it kind of slowly bleeds. This is a slow bleed. I mean, so that you're aware, this is a slow bleed where it's essentially, you know, it's going down, it's coming back up, down and back up. And despite the fact that Bitcoin was bleeding slowly, a lot of altcoins were continuing to rally. This, so far, is not a slow bleed. Okay, this is a fairly quick bleed. And the reason why that's important, why you might consider this to be something that you should consider, is that when it bleeds quickly, it doesn't give other coins a great opportunity to make a significant move on their own. So the short bleed is when, you know, it kind of goes down and back up and continues that pattern for a while. And then each of these major moves up gives, or even when it goes sideways, gives altcoins the chance to shine. When it's just going down day in and day out, altcoins aren't going to do anything. The reason I say this is because a lot of people on the channel who watch the channel I know don't own Bitcoin, because I've polled you guys and realized you don't own Bitcoin, and you own a lot of altcoins. So if you're wondering why your altcoins aren't performing so well, it's not just that Bitcoin's going down, it's because it's going down so quickly. And in order to see those altcoins make moves again, you need to see Bitcoin, put in give them some type of confidence, whether that means, bouncing before continuing, holding the 20-day moving average, which is what we're currently trying to hold. Whatever it is, it needs to give the altcoin some confidence to do that. Now, ADA and DOT are showing a decent amount of strength. Okay, we've talked about this before. So they're showing a decent amount of strength. I've seen these types of conditions. The two main things that'll happen most likely is they're likely not going to. I mean, of course, watch them go sideways, but they're likely not going to go sideways. They're most likely either going to have a nice breakout to the upside, which would come on diminished Bitcoin volatility, or they're going to capitulate harder than Bitcoin. So ADA looks strong now, DOT looks strong now. I've seen it before where these happen. There's some altcoins that are not looking that strong right now. Other coins are looking strong. DOT and ADA are looking strong against Bitcoin, as we've been showing. That strength can disappear if Bitcoin capitulates to the 20-week. Like if Bitcoin capitulates to the 20-week, I would expect ADA to bleed against Bitcoin. Okay, so that strength can disappear in that scenario. So the nice thing about the strength that these coins are showing, again, is if Bitcoin holds the line at the 20-day moving average, then I think they're primed to continue their rally. And we'll just look at this week as kind of like a cool down week where we regroup and ultimately trend higher. But yeah, right now, keep an eye on the 20-day. The 20-day currently is at 47.7K. So we're basically at that point. We're at 47.3. You might think that's $400. At this point, $400 is almost inconsequential for the price of Bitcoin. Back when the price was like, $1,000 or $3,000 or $5,000, a $500 move was quite substantial. But when you're at 48K or 47K, $500 is such a small move at that point that I don't think it's nearly as important. Someone says he thinks the majority of his portfolio should be Bitcoin. I've always said that I think, for years we've said on this channel that Bitcoin should ideally be the majority of someone's portfolio. It's not financial advice, just based on historical moves and whatnot. It doesn't necessarily offer you the most potential upside, but it protects you against a lot, some of the potential downside risk, which is something that you should take into consideration, especially if you're in the market for the long haul. If you're just in the market to make a quick buck, then I can maybe understand not really caring about Bitcoin and trying to ride altcoin mania. But if you're in the market for the long haul and you just want to systematically trace them or track the market, then not having Bitcoin, it somewhat seems absurd to not own any Bitcoin if you're in the market for the long haul, because crypto will go through phases where it crashes, right? That's what it does. Crypto crashes. It's just what happens in between those crashes that's important. So let's see if Bitcoin holds the 20-day, because we've seen this before. If it holds the 20-day, then sentiment can change really quickly. If it does something like this, and then if it does that, we'll hopefully see altcoins rally. If not, it'll be blood in the streets. Blood in the streets if we capitulate down. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. We're almost at 140,000 subscribers, so let's get to 140,000. I'm not even sure what we're currently at. I think we're at 139,000. Yeah, we're currently at 139,000 subscribers, so make sure you subscribe. Let's go for 140,000 subscribers while we're on stream. We don't speak deterministically, but Ethereum tidal wave happens in 4 days. I don't think it's going to happen in 4 days. I think it's more likely that it would take a few more weeks probably, and that's contingent on Bitcoin not capitulating, right? It's contingent on Bitcoin not capitulating. If it doesn't, then I still think Ethereum can make a major move, but it will depend on Bitcoin not capitulating. You might think, well, Ethereum seems so weak right now, but it seemed weak in the past, and it hasn't stopped it from rebounding relatively quickly. And you might say, well, how can Ethereum rebound if Bitcoin's all the way below 50K? Well, again, it wasn't that long ago, just a few weeks ago, the valuation of Ethereum was at 0.046. Now it's at 0.042. If Ethereum were to go back to 0.046, even at the current Bitcoin price of, say, 47,300, you would be looking at a 2175 Bitcoin. So if Ether rallies back up here, then you'd be looking at close to a $2,200 Bitcoin, even if the price of Bitcoin stays constant, which it probably won't again. But I mean, what we said before, for Ethereum to have a momentum shift against Bitcoin, a lot of times it happens when you get a decent correction by Bitcoin, because a decent correction by Bitcoin usually signifies to Ethereum that Bitcoin is now out of price discovery mode, and Ethereum can take the show over for a few weeks. When Bitcoin goes back into price discovery mode, the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation drops. So if you want to see Ethereum rally against Bitcoin, a lot of times you need a Bitcoin correction to sustain an Ethereum Bitcoin momentum shift. Not always. There are times when you don't, but a lot of times you need a Bitcoin correction. And we've been saying that for a while, that you'll likely need a Bitcoin correction before you'll see an Ethereum Bitcoin momentum shift. And now we've seen the correction. So the first thing is, check, that's complete. The second thing is, can the correction stop here? If it can stop here, then I think there's a decent chance Ether Bitcoin rallies back up. If it doesn't stop here, we're going to capitulate further, and then maybe we'll rally back up in a few weeks. This is my general understanding of what might happen. How's everyone doing today? Oh, did I say $2,200 Bitcoin? I meant I meant $2,200 Ethereum. I meant to say $2,200 Ethereum. Yeah, I mean Ethereum. Yeah, thank you guys for correcting me. I'm stuck in traffic on Struggle Street this morning. What does the pi indicator look like? I mean, we just pulled it up yesterday. I mean, essentially, it hasn't changed a whole lot. They haven't crossed, and they're not going to cross for a few weeks at the very least. What will ADA do if Bitcoin bounces? I mean, I hope it puts in a new all-time high at $1.38. If Bitcoin bounces, that's what I hope for. I know these times are scary. I mean, I get it. If you're new to the space, you're probably, if you recently bought crypto for the first time, you're probably worried. And I mean, I can't really blame you. A lot of us have been there at some point where you come in at the local top. If we do go down from here, and your natural inclination is to just leave crypto for good, I don't think you're doing yourself any favors. It's those that stick with it for the long haul that ultimately it ultimately pays off for. So, and if it does bounce here, I've seen this a million times too. If it does bounce here, everyone's going to be saying, who bought the dip? especially on some of these altcoins, that are. And let's actually take a look at Link, because Link, you know, if you're looking, Link is one of the ones that has taken a pretty big hit here. So Link is all the way down at $24, $24 to $25. So it's actually come down about 33%. So yeah, Link has taken a pretty big hit. You can see that it's actually below its 20-day. So DOT is well above its 20-day. I believe this is the 20. No, this is the 50-day. Sorry, let me put the 20-day on. Where's DOT's 20-day? DOT is still well above its 20-day. I was like, this doesn't look like the 20-day because I knew the 20-day held a support here and here for DOT. This is the 20-day for DOT, and you can see DOT is still well above it. It's, you know, it's about 14% above it. ADA is, let's pull the 20-day. ADA is above it as well by about 10%. So ADA and DOT are still looking relatively strong. They're still, you know, 10 to 15% above their 20-day. Link, on the other hand, is below it, and it's actually below it by 16%. So Link is out of the three main altcoins. I mean we mainly focus on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT on the channel. Out of the three main altcoins, Link is the one that is actually looking the weakest right now. I mean, you might consider that an opportunity. You might also say don't try to catch a falling knife. So, I mean, the market is still pretty overheated right now. So I'm not encouraging. You know, I'm not saying you should go buy a ton of any altcoin. But I still do have a decent amount of Link. I'm looking at it. You know, and if it were to continue to drop. Then I think it would become a decent buying opportunity. Not financial advice, of course. It might become a decent buying opportunity. I mean, if you're new to the market, you might say that $25 is a decent buy, and it could be. But again, I'm a little bit more risk averse than most, so I still think. I mean, this is probably still a little bit too far overextended for me in the short term. But if it continues to drop, then it might be. It might be worthwhile to consider picking more up. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So it's at it's still just hovering right around the 20-day moving average. How do you get the indicator called Bitcoin bull market support? You know, all it is, it's not anything fancy. It's just the 20-week moving average, the 20-week SMA, and the 21-week EMA. You can just create it yourself. Just type in moving average and then just create the 20-week and the 21-week. That's all it is. It's not like it's any fancy concoction of some complicated, you know, indicator. It's just the 20-week moving average, the 20-week simple moving average, and the 21 exponential. The 21-week exponential moving average. But yeah, I mean, the reason we show it is because a lot of times it's our support in a bull market, and you can get 40% drops to it. We've seen many 40% drops to it before. Let's see what it would correspond to today. I mean, if we were to drop to it from the top, yeah, I mean, it could end up corresponding to a 40% drop if you assume the drop takes a few weeks and Bitcoin does something like this, right? If it comes down... Sorry, if it were to come down like this, yeah, that could be the first 40% drop of the bull market. Yeah, I mean, I still think to some degree the market's overextended. Doesn't mean it can't bounce, but if we drop here, this is by the way, if we do drop to the 20-week, okay, if we do, this is where the bulls. This is kind of like the bulls' last stand to hold the line to maintain the integrity of the bull market. So if we were to drop to this level, I imagine the bulls would be out in numbers. Okay, they'd be out in numbers at that point to try to hold the line. We had so many videos over here on holding the line week over week, somewhat repetitive videos, of course, but we held the line, and then you saw what happened. So if we go back to it, it's not necessarily the end of the world. We just want to see if we can hold the line. The Ethereum bull market support. Yeah, it's a lot lower. This is where the Ethereum bulls would want to come hold the line. Would be right here. It currently ranges from 938 to 1065. So I would be coming in to hold the line here. Okay, I'm not coming in to hold the line here. It's too risky for me. It's too risky for me to hold the line at 1500. But I will try to hold. If it comes down here for Ethereum, I will try to hold the line. And we'll see if we hold it or not. But again, it currently ranges from 937 up to 1065. So there's no guarantee we get there anytime soon. I mean, to get there would imply, to the 20 week would imply basically another 40% drop or so. So that would be a fairly substantial drop. No guarantee that we get there anytime soon. Yeah, these are my own scripts on TradingView. We'll see how useful our peak regression band ends up being here, or if we end up, correcting and then continuing higher into it. What's my favorite band? Probably the Bitcoin fair value logarithmic regression band is my favorite band, I think. What do I what do I think about Litecoin? Yeah, the same thing, right? It's probably not worth it. Yeah, I mean, the thing is anytime I talk bad about any coin, like I piss off a certain group of people. It's not that Litecoin won't trend up. I just think that Bitcoin and Ethereum are better than Litecoin. So that's what I think. Yeah, I mean sorry, let me look at the questions. No, the reason why every time I say Litecoin, I typically regret. I mean, I don't really regret saying it because I mean it. Like I think that if you're gonna put money into the market, if you had to pick a few coins, like I would not pick Litecoin. Like I would definitely pick Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then after Bitcoin and Ethereum, I would pick ADA, Link, and DOT way before Litecoin. Because I'm like, if I'm putting a lot of money into Litecoin, then that's money that I'm not putting into these other projects that I think have a lot of potential, a lot more potential than Litecoin. So, but the funny thing is whenever I say that about Litecoin, I get a ton of people saying things like anytime the price of Litecoin trends upwards, I get so many comments, like so many people trolling me saying, oh, look at this guy talking bad about Litecoin, and here Litecoin is, going up. And my typical response to these guys is to ultimately just go back to the chart, right? I mean, what more can you do? And you just go back to the chart and you're like, well, you know, if I had taken your advice and put a lot of money into Litecoin over here, even though it's been a really great year for a lot of coins, you know, from April 2019, Litecoin is down 80% against Ethereum. Think about that. It's not down against USD. Well, I don't know what it was back then, but it might have been back. It might be down against USD. I don't think it was though. I think in April 2019 it wasn't that far down. But look at that. I mean, every dollar that you put in Litecoin over Ethereum, you would have lost 80% in terms of your Ethereum valuation. So again, but the problem is that anytime I say anything bad about Litecoin, anytime we get one of these nice little moves, then the Litecoin army comes out to say, you know, like, oh, I told you so, I told you so. And I just say, well, I mean, look at the chart, right? Look at the chart. And if you also look at the Litecoin Bitcoin chart, I mean, what is there to say, right? What is there to say? I mean, look at this. It's just it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. It's just trending down. Now, you could argue, if you go back further in time, and so this is the one, you know, this might be the one saving grace for Litecoin, you could argue that it tends to bleed. Okay, I don't think anyone can dispute that, right? Let me delete all this. So it tends to bleed against Bitcoin, and I don't think, oh my gosh, I don't think anyone can dispute that. But occasionally you do get nice moves, right? So occasionally, not very often, if you blink, you might miss it type of thing. So let's make this green. So with Litecoin, so for the Litecoin Bitcoin valuation, it tends to bleed against Bitcoin. Every once in a while, you get a nice pump, okay? One of these nice pumps. And this, if you can time it, it might, you know, it's one of those things that, yeah, like maybe it's worthwhile. So eventually I would think there's a decent chance that Litecoin does have another move against Bitcoin. And maybe it comes back up to this area, which might represent, from the current price, it might represent a 200% move, which is not bad. But I think that other coins like Link, ADA, DOT, even Ethereum will do better than that against Bitcoin, right? I think Ethereum will do better than that. I think ADA will do better. I think DOT will do better. I think Link will do better. So because I think they'll do better, that's why I hold those. It's not that I think that Litecoin can't go up. It's just that it's opportunity cost. And we've been saying this on the channel for a long time. Opportunity cost is significant in these markets. This is why a year ago, when I said the main projects I'm getting are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT. Well, DOT was back in August when it launched. Link is up 10x. ADA's up, what, 40x? There's not a lot of coins that are up that much. So, you know, Litecoin is up, what, a few x? It's nothing, you know, it's not up like 40x or anything like that. So hopefully that answers your question on Litecoin. I get the question basically every stream. I tend to just ignore them because I answer the question like every month or so. There is my monthly response on why I think that Litecoin is not the best one to hold if you're looking to venture into altcoins. That's my general thinking. And again, I mean, the fact that the creator sold all of his Litecoin at the peak in 2017 and then gave some reason for it. I mean, you know, I like it when the creator has skin in the game. You know, you might say things like you prefer the creator to not have a lot of tokens, but if people don't have skin in the game, like if the developer of the project doesn't have their own like stash of the cryptocurrency that they're helping develop, then they have a lot less incentive to develop the project, right? Because they're not actually necessarily benefiting from it going up anymore because they sold all their coins. So when he sold all his coins at the peak in, you know, 2017, 2018, my general thinking is, you know, if he doesn't believe in it to hold, if he doesn't believe in the project enough to hold the coins, then why the hell should I? And my thinking has basically been the same ever since then. If the creator doesn't hold the coins, then why should I? It's as simple as that. And I mean, I'm sure he has his reasons, but for me, it's black and white, right? The developer either holds the coins or he doesn't. He doesn't hold the coins. Yeah, I don't care why he sold. My thing is that he did sell. You know, I mean, it's not like you know, Gavin Wood has sold all his Polkadot tokens. It's not like Charles Hoskinson has sold all his ADA tokens. It's not like Satoshi has sold all his Bitcoin. You know, I mean, I feel like this type of answer, it's not. I mean, there's plenty of people that still hold, you know, large positions in the cryptocurrency that they're developing, and I don't consider them a shiller. I consider them to be fighting the good fight for us, right? We want them to go out there and fight. I want them to have skin in the game. I want them to go out there and try to do whatever they can to raise the valuation of the cryptocurrency that I hold if it's their project. I want them to shill it, right? Yeah, I mean, this is what I want. Shill their projects away. Market it like crazy. You know, do whatever you can to make sure that my portfolio valuation goes up. That's what I want. I don't care if they shill it. I mean, yeah. If I'm buying it, I want them to do that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Litecoin is the worst coin. I mean, it's not. There's plenty of coins that I would, you know, like if I had to put a lot of money into crypto and you said I couldn't buy, you know, a lot of the coins that I want to buy, it's not like Litecoin is the worst coin. I do think actually that, I mean, for the record, I think that Litecoin will probably hit $1,000 this market cycle. I really do. Like, I think that Litecoin will probably make it to 4 figures. You know, to $1,000. It's just that I hope that other investments do better. So yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to saying, like, it's not that I don't think it will trend up. I do think it will trend up, and there are worse coins out there, right? There are a lot of coins out there that I would buy Litecoin before I would buy those coins. And especially, you know, especially if you're talking about micro caps, like if you're talking about like the top 30 coins. Like I would buy Litecoin before a lot of some other coins that we don't really talk about on the channel. I'm not going to mention any specific names because let's just not do that. But you know, there's definitely some coins I would buy before, or I would buy Litecoin before, you know, certain other coins. Someone's talking about BBQ coin. We've talked about this on the channel before. What do you guys think is going to be the BBQ coin of this market cycle? I'm curious. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The BBQ coin of this cycle? I'm trying to figure out. Let me see. Does anyone remember, has anyone been around long enough to remember BBQ coin? I'm trying to find exactly when it was, like, because there was at one point where it made it to like the top 11 or something. I always have trouble remembering exactly the date that occurred, but let me see. I don't know where it is. Does anyone remember what date BBQ coin made it to like the top 11 or something ridiculous? Let me find it really quick. So, if you go back to 2013, there was a time when BBQ coin was number 11. Number 11. Think about that. BBQ coin was number 11 back in sometime, I think, late 2013. So my question to you, this is my question to you. Out of the top 11, what is the BBQ coin today? The coin that the future generation of crypto, and when I say generation, I just mean next market cycle. What is the BBQ coin of next market cycle when people look back and they're like, what the hell is that? Because it'll be so far down they won't have any idea what it is. What is the BBQ coin of this cycle that no one will remember next market cycle? If we look at them, your choices are Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're not going to include Tether, so we'll go actually to the top 12. And actually we'll go to the top 13 since the top 12 is another stable coin. So you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin, Polkadot, ADA, XRP, Litecoin, Chainlink, Bitcoin Cash, Stellar, and Uniswap. Which one of those do you think is the best candidate to move out of the top 10? And not just move out of the top 10 or top 11 or top 12, but actually move down the ranks significantly, so much in fact that the next generation of crypto, like the next market cycle, they'll have no idea what it even is. Looks like we have a lot of XRPs, Bitcoin Cashes. A lot of the responses are Bitcoin Cash and XRP. Some people are saying BNB. I would actually disagree. I actually think BNB is going to stay in the top 10 for a while. I don't think BNB is going to go anywhere. We even got some ADAs, some unis. Someone says Ethereum, Uniswap. Some people say Link. Even Dot. All right, so I've basically seen all of them now. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see which one it is. I'm sure some of them will not stand the test of time. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. We are putting in rookie numbers on the number of likes. We have over 18,000 people in the Telegram channel. So if you guys want to join that, I'll post it in the comments. Make sure you guys check out the Telegram channel. And then reminder, you can also check out the premium list sale if you want. You can find a link to that in the description below. I'll also post it in the chat. You get access to the weekly reports, the weekly videos, the Telegram alerts channel, the risk dashboard, the Telegram chat room, the trading view indicators, the premium only live streams, and more. So check it out. Other than that, what else you guys want to talk about? Looks like Ethereum is still trying to hold at 1,500 as Bitcoin decides whether it's going to hold the 20-day moving average or not. Let's see where it currently is. So the 20-day is, this is at 47.7, so we're slightly below it. So, basically what you're looking for is we're hoping that Bitcoin can close the day in about 5 hours above the 20-day moving average. And if it can, then maybe Bitcoin will bounce. And if Bitcoin bounces, a lot of times other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum will bounce more because they fell more. So a lot of times they'll bounce more, and then if it goes sideways, then they can rally. So this is like the best case scenario for Ethereum is for Bitcoin to hold the line here. If it drops, then yes, make sure you're buckled up because things can get ugly. But we also know that when things get ugly, it represents an opportunity. So don't try to reverse your mindset. When things are moving up, if that's the only time you buy, you're not doing yourself any favors. You typically buy the fear. You typically buy the fear. So if it drops down here, that's that's buying the fear, theoretically speaking. Where are we at in the Ether Bitcoin? We're basically where we were yesterday. Not a whole lot has changed. We're at 0.032. We had a nice wick down. So the story will either go one of two ways, right? The story will be remembered one of two ways. It will likely be either Bitcoin holds the line at the 20-day moving average and then it bounces, and then the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation likely bounces, or Bitcoin capitulates down to say the 50-day moving average at like 40K, and we're heading down. We're heading down in that case. So you have to figure out, you know, I still have the majority position of my Ethereum, but I have taken some profits. I'm not gonna lie, I have taken some profits. So the question is, you know, is it worth it? Like how much Ethereum would you want to risk at this point? Because, you know, there's certainly the downside risk if Bitcoin ends up going down to say the 50-day moving average at 40K, which would, by the way, it's not like a drop to 40K would necessarily be that substantial. I mean, it's essentially what we did last time, about a 31%, 32% drop. So a drop to the 50-day moving average would be about, to 40K would be about the same that we dropped last time. If I had nothing in my portfolio, where would I start? I would always start with Bitcoin. My answer for that will not change. You know, if you're in crypto for the long haul, I would say always start with Bitcoin if you're in it for the long haul. If you're in it for a week or two, then I can't really help you with that because that's not what I focus on. If you're in it for the long haul, I think starting with Bitcoin is the place to start. Am I staking 100% of my DOT tokens? I am, actually. It is somewhat risky, but I am. Yeah, I mean, after Bitcoin, I would say Ethereum, and then after Ethereum, I would say Link, ADA, and DOT. Not necessarily in that order. Maybe just at the same time, Link, ADA, and DOT. Get you decent exposure to the market. All right, let's see what's going on. Let me actually switch over to the minute time frame. We'll see where we are. It's a pretty ugly chart, you know. So we'll see. Let me switch it over quickly to, like, say 5 minutes so we get a little bit more perspective here. So the 20-day, as we know, is right now is at 47.7 or so. So that's where the 20-day is. So theoretically speaking, like a nice bounce might come if Bitcoin holds the 20-day. If we're closing daily candles, you know, day after day below the 20-day, then it's not good for altcoins. So you would be wanting to hope that it gets back above this level probably in the next like 5 hours or so. Which, I mean, it might. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, by the way. Give the video a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe. Let's go for 140,000 subscribers. I don't think we are there yet, but we should almost be there. We are at 139,863. So make sure you subscribe. Let's get to 140,000 subscribers and like the video. What is risky about staking DOT? Well, I mean, it depends on where you do it. If you use like a centralized platform, then your risk is that you don't own the keys to that cryptocurrency. Glad you like the channel, Tim. Did I get one of those 100,000 subscriber things from YouTube? I'm assuming you mean like the silver play button. I did not. I don't think I got contacted by them about it. I did hear someone say I have to reach out to them to get it, but I don't really, I mean, what's a few play buttons among friends, right? I mean, maybe I'll look into it later, but I feel like there's more pressing matters, you know, at hand than getting a play button. Yeah, I will get a new chair. I will. I've started looking at some. Yeah, the Patreon subscription is the same as the website. Basically, the Patreon is just for people who prefer that platform over, say, getting emails and stuff. Someone says his net worth is down 35% today. This is why taking profits can be useful systematically in bull markets. It's not to say that you don't think things can't go up, but it's just to offset some of that risk of the bull market, right? Offset the risk so that if things do drop, at least your net worth isn't dropping like crazy. So what do you guys think? Is Bitcoin closing the day above the 20-day moving average at 47.7, or are we going down to 40K? What's the general sentiment in the chat? 47K, or let's say 48K or 40K? What do you think? Where is Bitcoin heading? Let me I'm gonna pull up the daily chart here. Looks like a lot of people think 40K. Maybe that means 48K will hold. No, I mean, you might say that 47 or 48K already broke, or the 20-day. And you're right, it has, but if it pumps back up in the short term, it'll look nothing more than a wick. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't blame people for thinking it's going to go down to 40K, especially since that would represent the same retracement that we saw earlier. This has been a pretty sharp drop here in the daily RSI for Bitcoin. The 4 hours really getting hammered. I don't know. We'll see if it bounces. We'll see if it bounces, because if it does, then we know sentiment can change quickly. These are the risks you take. It's not just a cakewalk. Remember that. Things don't just go up all the time. They don't just go up monotonically. It is the risks we take, and occasionally we get these amazing pumps. Yeah, the stock market is actually down a lot today too, and it has been for the last several days. So like the last week or so, stocks have been trending down as well. Yeah, of course I invest in stocks. My position in stocks is larger than my position in crypto. I use crypto to increase my positions in stocks, actually. But I mean, the nice thing about stocks is that they don't tend to drop 80%. Especially if you buy the entire market. Like if you buy like a mutual fund, they don't tend to drop 80%. By the way, we do have a Telegram channel called Into the Equityverse. If you guys are looking for another channel, I'll post it in the chat. Someone says his 10,000 profit from ADA went to dividend stocks. My main profits right now, actually, from the cryptocurrencies, because I do take profits in any bubble. Most of them went to stable coins. Some of them went to stocks and various ETFs, but a lot of them are in stable coins right now, earning interest. And I'll take them out if we get a major crash, then I'll buy back in with that. But ADA is slowly dropping here. It's down to 91 cents now. So, I mean, obviously, you know, Bitcoin's still trending down right now. Make sure you guys subscribe. I don't think we're at 140 yet. By experience, does a mutual drop in stocks usually push the crypto market? I think it usually relates to the dollar, so I would say keep an eye on the dollar. This is the same area that the dollar put up a stand back in 2018, which ushered in a crypto bear market. So I would say, you know, look to see if the dollar holds. Because if the dollar holds here and breaks back upward, let's say it goes back above its bull market support, which is somewhat loose here. I mean, so far it's been rejected by it a couple times, but if it ultimately goes above it, like this, then yeah, like that's not good. That's generally not good for crypto. You can see that in 2017, to just give you a brief idea, starting in March, the dollar dropped 13% or so, and Bitcoin rallied. And then in 2016, 2017, the dollar dropped 15% and Bitcoin rallied. But in 2018, the dollar went up and we had the crypto bear market. In 2014, the dollar went up and we had the crypto bear market. So this was a bear market for crypto, and this was a bear market for crypto. If you don't want crypto going into a bear market, then you would prefer that the dollar does not trend back up. You probably would hope that you zoom out and you see this chart and you hope that, okay, maybe you'll see something like this where it ultimately comes, you know, I mean, I don't think it's going to go that low, but you're probably looking for something like that. So I would say, you know, if you're looking for some direction on whether crypto is bullish or bearish in terms of other asset classes or something, look towards the dollar. Look to see what the dollar's doing. Is the dollar falling below this level? And is it coming down here? That's good for crypto. If it's coming back up, probably not good for crypto for a while. But remember, it can fight for months before giving any definitive direction. Let's see where we went on our let's see where Bitcoin is on the regression rainbow stuff. That nonsense. Here we go. So here we are. Slowly moving up. I've said before, I mean, I don't think we'll make it to this one again. Just because we know that prior cycles don't tend to make it to the regression band of the prior one. So I don't anticipate making it to that band, but these bands again, they are going up. So right now we made it to the top of this green band, basically the same area. We've been here before. We'll see what happens for sure. It's not like it would be that surprising if this were a local top for a while. Based on my resistance lines on the regression on the Bitcoin chart, they don't seem like they pass 80 to 100K this cycle. That's actually not true. If you look at it, so it currently ranges from 58K up to 85.6K. And again, this is just fit to the 3 prior peaks. So I don't think this indicator is something you can necessarily take to the bank and say that it has to predict anything, but it's one more indicator that will be useful. Remember, all models are wrong, some are useful, and hopefully this one will be useful enough. You might say, well, it only ranges up to 85K now. Yeah, but it goes up by about, right now it's going up by about $40 a day or something like that. And again, you know, if we do something like this, where we come back down and then slowly work our way back up, by the time we work our way back up, we could be, like the top of the regression band could be well above 100K. So again, so time is on our side. Time is on our side. Yeah, I could theoretically fit the top band to more points. Right now I'm just fitting it to just the 3 data points, and I added a tolerance band already. So you could argue that effectively I did that by adding some tolerance. Otherwise, I would just have a single line like this one over here. So I already added a tolerance to it. That's why it ranges, 20-30% or something, right? I mean, from the bottom of it up to the top, well, it's actually about 45% now. Back over here, it ranged from 28K up to 42K or so. And that was only in 2019. So you can see, like, at the 2019 top, the 2019 local top, this ranged from 28K to 42K. And then you fast forward a year and a half, and it ranges from 58K up to 86K almost. So time is on our side. It looks like Bitcoin's dropping a bit here. Now it's actually about to break maybe below 46K. So let's switch back over to, say, the minute time frame and see what's going on. We've had some wicks into this area before, so we've had, if you look, we've had some wicks down here. So we had, a few wicks here. So we're back into the same region that we've been coming down to. So this is a fairly critical point probably to see if it holds and bounces. Because I mean, it's already getting pretty late in the day. We only have about 5 more hours before the daily close. So if you wanted it to bounce above the 20-day moving average, it needs to start heading back up relatively soon. Otherwise, maybe it's 40K, here we come. All right, let's see what happens. Can I explain the difference between log and linear chart? I mean, log is just like, it's every major tick is 10x up rather than a linear scale. So it's like it's in decades, basically, not yearly decades, but like, you think in terms of decades, in terms of times 10, not a linear scale. For instance, if you were to look at, say, if you were to look at this chart, but on a linear scale, look how weird it looks. I mean, look how weird it looks. And the funny thing is like it makes it look so that the major moves over here, like this move here to the top of the regression band, looks like nothing. But if you If you go back, we know that it was a fairly significant move. It's just that as it continues on, right, things go up relatively quickly, and here we are again, right? All right, let's see what happens. We're at 46,250. ADA's trying to hold on to 90 cents at this point. You can see that it's starting to look weaker the lower Bitcoin goes. This is those things, you know, with the altcoins that look good. They look good for a while. But if Bitcoin gets too low and starts breaking below too many layers of support, then they'll look weaker and weaker and weaker. It still can bounce, but we'll see. We're currently at 46.4. Make sure you guys subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Looks like the lowest we went on here was around, right around just below 45 actually, and with this wick over here we had earlier. Alexander says subscribe so YouTube revenue can make up for Ethereum revenue. I'm not even making money on, I don't even have YouTube ads enabled. I don't have super chats enabled. I don't have affiliate links or anything like that. Have you ever seen an ad on my channel? I doubt it, because they're not enabled. All right, we're at 46. Does my TA take into account USD printing with respect to the next cycle top? Actually, we have a risk metric for Bitcoin where I have the Bitcoin risk metric, and then I have the Bitcoin risk M2 adjusted, which basically takes into account the money supply. All right, let's see what happens. I either want to see a bounce or go below. All right, we're back below 46. Should we draw our little cliff dwellers? All right. We're at 45.9. The 20-day at this point isn't looking like very likely to hold. I mean, it's always possible we bounce back up. Of course, we're not gonna discount it by any means. Let's see where it is. So yeah, it's at like 47.6, 47.7. The 50 days all the way down here at 40K. So, you know, if we're dropping well below this, we might want to look towards this one. This is where we held last time. If below that, I would say maybe the 20 week. The 20 week would be the next major area probably. Ooh, 45.6. Remember, the bull market support band is still a long ways off. Okay, we're nowhere close to it. Nowhere close. It's all the way down here at 28K up to 31K. So again, we're nowhere close to it yet. $45,520. It looks like our bottom over here was around. Let me delete that. Was around 44.9. Was this wick? Was around 44.9, 44.8 maybe. 44.845. You see it right here. 44.845 was as low as we went earlier. I imagine the Ether Bitcoin valuation is dropping, which it is. Yeah, it's down at 0.0318. It's only going to drop more if Bitcoin keeps falling. Most likely. This is the band where we've been bouncing. We'll see if we bounce again. One time we bounced at 45K, another time at 44.8, 45, another time at 45.8, another time at 45.8. Right now we are at 45.6 and falling. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Let's see what Ether's doing. Yeah, the Ether bull market support band is still a ways off. It ranges from 935 up to 1,060. So we're nowhere close to it. I mean, Ethereum would need to drop another 36% to get to the 20-week or 26% to get to the 21-week EMA. Not saying we're going there, but I mean, we've gone there before and we continued the bull market, right? I mean, here was a drop where we dropped 68% down to the 20-week, and then we ultimately continued on. If we were to drop to it from the top, it would be, I mean, it would be like a modest 50% drop or so. All right, we're back above 46. Let's see if we bounce out back up to some level of safety or not, or if it's just downhill from here. Link is getting hammered here, down to less than 24. So I might want to keep an eye on this one to see how low it goes, because that could present a nice opportunity. Again, I wouldn't necessarily try to catch a falling knife by any means, but again, if it keeps dropping, it might become a little bit more attractive. 8 is at 90 cents. Who is selling? What are they motivated by? I mean, people that made money, you know, people that were in profits. If you're buying Bitcoin at 3K and 4K, it's hard not to sell it at, you know, in the 50K region. You know, it's hard not to. All right, we're still falling here. We're at 45.5. 45.4. Rejected by the regression band. Rejected. $45.6. Let me look at the questions. Is it theoretically possible to use the red band as support? You mean this one? Are you talking about like doing some? Are you talking about doing something like this, like where you come up to it and then you come back down to support and then continue on? I doubt it. I mean, I think it's possible that we go above the red band for sure, because it's not like, I mean, it's only 53 data points. But I don't think that, I mean, at some point we would have a nasty correction. I don't think the red band would hold by any means. Yeah, how does the Bitcoin dominance look? It looks like it is going up a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, it's not making any major moves up, but I mean, it definitely has broken out of this downtrend we were in for since January 3rd. So it's more or less just moving sideways and slightly up. It hasn't made a major move to the upside yet. What would cause this to go back up, though, significantly, like this, would be if Bitcoin capitulates to like 40K or 30K or something, and the dominance will go up. And that's why having Bitcoin, you know, if you have exposure to crypto, having Bitcoin it usually at least protects you somewhat from the downside risk. All right, the bears and the bulls are fighting between 45 and 46K right now. Someone says the Ethereum monthly candle needs some help. Let me look at it. I haven't looked at it. Yeah. It's still green. It's still green. It opened the month at 13.13. So far the candle is actually still green. It's kind of crazy to think that February, like a little over 3 weeks ago, the price of Ethereum was 13.13. You know, it feels like so much longer ago than that. I don't know if the stock market necessarily affects crypto. I mean, I think the dollar might. Um, all right, what do you guys think? Will we hold? Will Bitcoin hold and bounce back out and do something like this? Or is it going down? Will it bounce? I'm probably not going to keep the stream going too much longer. See, the last two, I mean, this one went up here and here. Most people think down, so maybe that means it's going up. I don't know. Any questions? Yeah, sometimes I do polls to see how people generally think, like where people think we are in the market, what they think is going to happen. All right, we're back at 45,980. I mean, I don't think the bull market is over. I mean, we could be at a local top for a while, but I don't think it's over. I mean, even if we come down here, I don't know. We'll see. Someone said, look at the 4-hour candles. Yeah, we're about to close this 4-hour candle in about 4 minutes. So we'll close it in 4 minutes. We'll see if what happens. There's a lot, there can be volatility around some major candle closes. I mean, 4-hour candles aren't really that significant for long-term people long-term stuff, which is what we focus on. But we'll keep an eye on the next 4-hour candle, which is going to hit in about 3.5 minutes. We'll switch it back over to the minute time frame for now, just to see what's going on. Okay, we're back above 46. The chat seems pretty bearish. Everyone's just saying we're screwed. See you in a few years. Come on, guys. Yeah, no, I'm just looking at, apparently Tiger Woods was in a car crash. Suffered multiple leg injuries. He's currently in surgery. Did you guys see that? All right, let's see what happens. We're at 45.6. We're still flirting with these levels. I mean, it seems like, you know, like if it goes below 45K and then starts dropping to 44, and maybe 40K is probably the most likely target. I mean, obviously people will think 42 because that was the prior top, but 40K seems like a possibility in that situation. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up. We're almost at, we need 13 people to subscribe to be at 140,000 subscribers. All right, we're back at 45.5. We're flirting with danger. Remember to check out our Telegram channel if you guys want. We have over 18,000 people there, so check it out. All right, we're dropping a little bit more, 45.4. We just got our 4-hour close, so let's go look at it. So we closed it at 45.503. All right, we are dropping 45.4, 45.3. Sometimes you'll get that extra volatility around those candle closes. $40K watch party. That's not the 40K watch party that we dreamed about at one point, remember? 40K watch party. That was ADA. ADA's still at 88 cents, so it's trying to hold up. But it's dropping. It's actually dropping a little bit with respect to Bitcoin right now. You can see that the further down Bitcoin goes, the weaker some of these coins get against Bitcoin. Not against USD, of course against USD, but against Bitcoin. The lowest we came earlier again was 44,845. We did that earlier today, in fact, and then we bounced back up to 49K. It's been pretty volatile over the last day or so. I mean, because we came, I mean, literally on the 23rd, we, at one point on the 23rd, how far back does this go? I mean, at one point we were at 53K, we went down to 45, back up to 50, down to 45, back up to 50, down to 45, back up to, 49, back down to 45. I mean, it's been a pretty volatile day. Again, the integrity of the bull, if we do drop, as long as we're above this, the bull market is still intact. Okay, as long as we're above this. Which right now, again, ranges from 28 up to 31K. So I need to check something. Yeah, I mean, if we drop much further, I mean, if we drop a lot, then yeah, it will be back to accumulation. Right now, I mean, this is risky accumulation, right? I mean, some people accumulate here. It's risky accumulation. It's not like, the less risky accumulation that we like to be in. It's still relatively extended in the short term. Doesn't mean it can't stay that way for a long time, though. All right, we bounced again. So we're still at around 46K. The dominance is going up. You can see the dominance is going up as people get spooked that Bitcoin will drop much further down. Ethereum's had a nice little bounce back to 1463. Let's keep an eye on Bitcoin. If we bounce back up to like 47 or something, I'll probably just end the stream because we've been going for an hour and a half already. To close above the 20-day, we still need to go back up to this level within the next 4 hours. So that would represent, from the current price, it would need to go up about 3.3%. Yeah, I mean, alt season could theoretically happen if Bitcoin bounces. It has to bounce. If it bounces, then we get alt season likely. If it has a nice sustained bounce. If it doesn't bounce, we kick the can down the road for a while. Make sure you guys subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the Telegram channel. I know these are scary times, but I mean, this is just part of the market, right? It's part of the market. DOT's still holding up relatively well. I mean, it's still at like $31. ADA is still above 90 cents. So again, in order for us to close above the 20-day and have a nice bounce, remember the 20 days again where that was our initial bounce last time. We did have a wick below it, so it's possible this just turns into a wick if it actually goes up 3% by the daily close. It was in this area that we had alt season. If we don't get the bounce, then we likely don't get alt season. Okay, that's basically the way it is. So if we bounce and stabilize, we might get alt season. If we go below, then buckle up. ADA is actually bouncing back a little, back to 91 cents. Bitcoin's moving back up some, 46.4. So again, it needs to get above this line here to close the day above the 20-day. Which, I mean, if you're wondering why I talk about it, I mean, it's not that it just bounced here. If you go back, it's also bounced at the 20-day before, okay? And you can get nice alt movements in this range if it bounces. You just have to hope for the bounce, right? So bounce and some altcoins move. Bounce and some altcoins move. You want the bounce. If it doesn't bounce, well, you guys know. All right, we were at 46,380. Let's see if we hit 140,000 yet on subscribers. We made it to 140,000, so thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Check out the Telegram channel. You can find a link to that in the description below, or I'll put it in the chat. There's also the premium list sale if you guys want to join that. So it went as low as 45,214 or so. So basically, I mean, it just bounced up $1,000 in the last like five minutes or 10 minutes or so. Link Bitcoin is absolutely, it's got to be getting hammered. Yeah, we still haven't, I mean, if you look at the support band here, it's still, Link is still not in a bull market with respect to Bitcoin, right? I mean, it still keeps getting knocked back down by the support band. So until Bitcoin, until Link gets back above this, it's still somewhat playing in the sandbox, right? And this valuation right now is about at 67,000 Satoshis, and we're at 52,000. So Link still has some work to do before it is going to feel like it's more decently bullish. Right now, it's definitely bearish against Bitcoin. And it has been for a while, so. Yeah, I mean, as I said before, I don't necessarily think this is a peak, or I don't think this is a market cycle peak. I don't think it is. We've looked at a lot of analysis to try to support that. It could be a local top, right? It could be, we could have a leg down for a while, but I don't think it's a market cycle peak. All right. Let's see. Huh. Someone says, hope you say your ADA buys to 15 cents this time. Yeah, I had like a wick on Kraken down to 15 cents, which is pretty ridiculous. All right, well, I think we'll wrap up the live stream there. We've been going for almost 2 hours. So if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. There's the Telegram channel. You can find a link to that in the description below. By the way, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I'll post the link to that. I mean, I actually am somewhat active on Twitter. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. I only have like 25,000 followers on Twitter, so not nearly as many. But if you guys want, you guys can follow me on Twitter. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for the video. We'll see where Bitcoin takes us. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.